What are workers' compensation laws, and why were they enacted? Workers' compensation is a statutory scheme by which injured workers can receive benefits during the time that they are disabled because of a work-related injury. Workers' compensation laws were created because only a few generations ago, if a worker was injured on the job and no longer able to perform his customary work, he'd be fired. A breadwinner who was out of work due to an injury caused total devastation for that worker as well as his family. There's no income coming in. There are medical expenses and medical care that needs to be given that was not given. The legislature's response to this situation was the enactment of workers' compensation laws. Workers' compensation law provides a worker with many and diverse benefits during the course of his disability. We're going to talk about some of those here today. The first benefit is medical care. The second is temporary total disability. And the third is the potential for a permanent partial disability settlement. The right to medical care and treatment is one of the most important rights a worker has under workers' compensation law. It is important to note that even if you are sent to a company clinic or emergency room initially, or to a doctor of the employer's choice, a worker has the right to choose his own doctor. In fact, a worker has the right to choose up to two doctors who will care for and treat him or her for their injuries that are work-related. As to medical bills, this is also an important benefit that workers' compensation law provides. The employer must pay for all reasonable and necessary medical care and treatment. The provider of that treatment may not balance bill, so that once workers' compensation benefits are paid, there should be no residual payment that would be due to any health care provider. Another important benefit is temporary total disability, commonly referred to as TTD. TTD is the payment that the employer must make to the injured worker on a weekly basis, the amount of that payment being dependent upon the worker's wage. The injured worker is entitled to 2/3 of his average weekly wage in the year next preceding the date of the injury. In other words, we look back to the 1 year period before a worker was injured, we determine what he made during that period, divide by 52, and take 2/3 of that sum. Stated differently, if a worker was making $1,000 a week at the time he was injured and is off for more than 3 days, then he is entitled to receive 2/3 of that amount during the course of his disability. In that example, he would receive on a $1,000 average weekly wage $666.67 as his TTD benefit. Once an injured worker has recovered from his or her injury and is released by their doctor at what is considered to be a level of maximum medical improvement, or MMI, and if they are able to return to the same job and perform the same type of work that they had performed prior to the accident, they may be entitled to a permanent partial disability award. Permanent partial disability awards are based on specific loss of use of a body part. Under the statutory scheme that is workers' compensation, most body parts are assigned a specific value. So, for example, an arm is considered to have a value of 253 weeks, a leg 215 weeks. Any body part that is not assigned a specific value under the Workers' Compensation Act falls into a category known as man as a whole. The value of a man as a whole is 500 weeks, according to the legislature. Permanent partial disability settlements are generally paid out on a lump sum basis. For example, we had said that an arm has a statutory value of 253 weeks. If a case settled on a lump sum basis for 10% loss of use of an arm, that would be 25.3 weeks. That number of weeks gets multiplied by what is called your rate, and that determines the amount of your lump sum settlement. To discuss exactly what your case may potentially be worth, you would want to call an attorney who is well versed and experienced in workers' compensation law. If you would like to discuss your workers' compensation case with me and find out what benefits you may be entitled to under the law, I would be happy to discuss that case with you at no charge. Our consultations are free. Please call me at 708-424-2121 to schedule your free consultation. I look forward to speaking with you.